For the past couple of years, we've all gotten pretty used to AI chatbots, right? They're these helpful assistants that can whip up an email or help you brainstorm. But that whole game is changing, and it's changing fast. We are now entering the age of AI agents. These are AIs that don't just talk about doing things, they actually do them. And while everyone's been watching the big guys, a new challenger just showed up, and honestly, it might just rewrite the rules. Let's get into it.
I love this quote from a user on Reddit because it just perfectly nails this entire shift. We are moving from these passive suggestion engines to active digital collaborators. It's the difference between having an advisor and having an employee. And that is a massive, massive leap in what AI can do for us. So what exactly is this new breed of AI?
The key term here is AI Super Agent. And look, this is way beyond just answering a simple question. We're talking about giving an AI a complex goal and then watching it think, create a step-by-step plan, figure out which tools it needs, whether that's browsing the web, writing code, or even designing images, and then actually executing that whole plan from start to finish. It's about giving the AI a project, not just a prompt.
Okay, so that brings us to our main event. In one corner, you've got the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, OpenAI, with their new agent mode. And in the other corner, a surprisingly powerful new challenger called GenSpark. Folks, this is a classic David versus Goliath story, and I'm telling you, the results are not what you might expect.
So what we have here are two totally different ways of thinking about this. On one side, you've got OpenAI, who's basically evolving their superstar ChatGPT, adding these new agent skills into an interface we all know. And on the other side, you've got this startup, Mainfunk, that built GenSpark from the ground up with a completely different philosophy. Their idea is a super agent that acts like a project manager for a whole team of specialized AIs. It's really evolution versus a revolution.
But hang on. Before we dive any deeper, we got to clear something up really quick, because if you go and search for GenSpark, you might get a little confused. That's right, there are two different companies out there with the same name. One is a tech talent firm. The one we are talking about today, the one that's shaking things up, is the AI Super Agent from the startup Mainfunk. So for the rest of this breakdown, when I say GenSpark, I mean the AI. All right, now that we know who's who, let's see how this thing actually performs.
To really see which of these is the real deal, we decided to put them head-to-head in a 3-round showdown. We gave both OpenAI's Agent Mode and GenSpark's Super Agent the exact same prompts for 3 really common but pretty complex business tasks. No hints, no do-overs, just a pure test of what they can do.
All right, for round 1, we're jumping into a task that a lot of you probably know all too well, creating a pretty high-stakes business presentation completely from scratch.
And yeah, this was no simple request. We asked for a full-on McKinsey-style strategy deck. It needed visuals, customer personas, pricing strategy, a product roadmap, the whole 9 yards. This is the kind of stuff that would take a human analyst days, maybe even weeks to put together. So, how did our AIs do? The difference in the final product was, wow, it was obvious right away. OpenAI's agent gave us a deck that was fine, it was functional, but the information was pretty surface level, and the visuals looked like a basic template. GenSpark, on the other hand, delivered a hyper-detailed presentation. We're talking impressive visuals, more substantial-looking data, and get this. It started by showing us its entire plan, outlining the 15 slides it was about to create.
But here's the real kicker, the thing that actually made my jaw drop: the speed. OpenAI took about 30 minutes to generate its presentation. GenSpark delivered its far superior, more detailed deck in just 4 minutes. 4! That's more than 7 times faster. For a task that takes a human days, that kind of efficiency gap it's a game changer. Round 1 is a decisive win for GenSpark.
Okay, for round 2, we decided to really turn up the heat. We asked both agents to put on a few different hats: research analyst, narrative strategist, and audience engagement specialist, to create an entire YouTube video package, from the script all the way to the visuals. Now, to be fair, both agents came back with a pretty decent script, but the real test was what came next. We asked them, now create a deck of visuals for this video, and this is where one of them just hit a wall. OpenAI could only give us a text outline of what the visuals could be. GenSpark, though, it actually generated images, thumbnails, graphics for the video. Now, were they all perfect? No. But it successfully did a complex multimodal task that its competitor flat out couldn't. Add to that, it was 3 times faster, and round 2 is another clear win for GenSpark.
So for the final round, we went with something a little more creative, a little more personal. We gave both agents a link to a real LinkedIn profile and just asked them to create a visually interesting one-page summary about that person and what they do. In this round, the gap between them was just huge. OpenAI's agent really struggled. It kept asking for more information, and in the end, it produced this poorly formatted, basically unusable document. GenSpark's version was professional, well-structured, but then it did something that I honestly didn't see coming. It went beyond the LinkedIn page, scanned the web for more context, and added a whole section called What Leaders Are Saying with actual positive quotes it found about the person. That right there, that proactive research is what a true AI agent is all about. GenSpark takes round 3, and that is a clean sweep.
So, a 3-0 sweep. That's a knockout. The big question is, how? How did a smaller startup so thoroughly outperform the biggest name in the game? Well, the answer isn't just a slightly better AI model. It's a completely different philosophy on how an AI agent should even work.
GenSpark runs on what they call a mixture of agents system. And honestly, the best way to understand it is to just picture a project team. You give the super agent a goal, it immediately acts like the project manager and creates a plan. Then it delegates each little task to a specialist AI, a researcher, a writer, a designer, and gives them access to over 80 different tools and 9 AI models. It literally picks the best AI for each specific job and then stitches it all together into the final result. It's not one AI trying to do everything, it's a coordinated team of experts.
Look, this whole showdown isn't just about which tool is a little bit better today. It's pointing to a massive shift in how we're all going to work with AI in the future. We're moving away from using AI as just another tool, and we're starting to collaborate with AI as a genuinely capable team member. So what's the big takeaway for you?
Now, to be totally clear, this technology is incredibly powerful, but it's not perfect. GenSpark is amazingly versatile and it's built for action, but it's not a magic button. You can burn through your free credits pretty fast on big jobs, and you really have to learn how to write clear, detailed prompts to get the best results. And, this is the most important part, a human has to stay in the loop. You always need to review and fact-check the output. It's a powerful collaborator for sure, but it is not a replacement for your judgment.
So who stands to benefit the most from this new wave of AI agents, like right now? Well, we're seeing a huge impact from marketing pros who are automating things like competitor analysis. Content creators are speeding up their entire workflow. Researchers can compile data in minutes instead of weeks, and small business owners can generate business plans or website copy almost instantly. It's becoming this incredible productivity multiplier across so many different fields.
And that brings us to the final and I think most important question. As these AI super agents get more and more powerful, they're starting to feel less like a calculator and more like a super efficient intern or a junior team member. They can take on these complex, multi-step projects that just eat up our time and energy. So the question for all of us is no longer if we're going to use them, but how. If you look at your own to-do list, what's the first big, time-consuming task you would hand over to your own personal AI agent?